All right. Well, whether we're live or not, let's we're hanging out, right? We'll just wait
Yeah.
for the rest of our party to join us.
What did I miss? You guys are just kind of acting like you were
Pretending.
Yep.
nice climbing
Exactly.
wall, Keegan.
Thanks. That's how I get my training in these days, you know. Between that and Big Bear in the corner, you know.
The teddy bear,
So-
with the teddy bear on your back. Dig
What's
it.
funny, right after this, I'm jumping on I'm taking over a virtual PE class at
Nice.
in half an hour. So that's why I kind of set up the room the way it is. All this is Breck's playroom. I just kind of cleaned out all the Hot Wheels cars that were on the ground.
I'm just trying to find a quiet place away from now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard.
It is.
Someday we'll look back on this and go, oh, we're so lucky to have all that quality time.
Seriously. Are you in Sun Valley, Kevin, or are you in Wisconsin right now?
I'm home at my parents' house in Wisconsin.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fischer Sports Live Athlete Panel. First and foremost, we hope everyone is doing well wherever you are. We are skiers and we're all over the globe, and it's so exciting to have a moment to hear from some of our top athletes to see what they've been up to, how they're handling this unique situation. I'm going to kick it off. I'm Keegan Randall. I was a 5-time Olympian in cross-country skiing and won an Olympic gold medal with my teammate, Jesse Diggins, in 2018. Right after that, I finished my professional ski career on the cross-country side, mostly so I can clear some time for some other fun ski adventures. I lived most of my life in Alaska, but now I live in British Columbia. This winter, I ticked off a couple big goals on my bucket list. I did the American Birkenbeiner in Wisconsin, 50K, and then went over to Sweden and did the Vasalopp at 90 kilometers. Holy cow, that's a lot of skiing. Super cool to do an event with 30,000 people all at once. Since then, I've come back and had a lot of fun in the mountains. I'm a mom now. My son Breck is 4 years old, and so we've been teaching him to ski. So that's up with me. Now to you, Kevin.
Sweet. Thanks, Keegan. Yeah, guys, my name's Kevin Bulger. I'm on the cross-country team, and I'm a cross-country skier, obviously. But I grew up, and I'm currently home right now in northern Wisconsin, a small town called Minocqua, about 2,000 people. So, yeah, super tiny. When I'm not here, I live out in Sun Valley, Idaho, and actually I'm going to move down to Park City here a little bit and split my time between those two places while I train for the upcoming season and hopefully dodge this nasty coronavirus. And yeah, with that, I'm going to pass it on to Sophia.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, I'm Sophia Schwartz. I am a former U.S. mogul skier, and now I am a big mountain skier, ski mountaineer, living here in Jackson, Wyoming, which is just awesome, incredible. Let me know if you ever find yourself in town. This year has been like a big change in my life as I've really gotten more into like ski mountaineering. Set the big goal of going to ski the Mesner Couloir on Denali, which meant changing from, you know, a mogul skier where you're skiing as fast as you can for 30 seconds to like a mountaineer where you're walking uphill for 10 hours, you know, with a 60-pound pack. It's been a big change, but unfortunately the season has been postponed up there. So similar to a lot of you guys kind of struggling with the coronavirus life, but stoked to be with you guys. And on to you, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen Nyman. I am on the U.S. downhill ski team, 4-time Olympian, and Kevin, if you need a place to rent in Park City, I split my time between Park City and Jackson, so maybe I'll see you, Sophia, this summer. Just got up to Jackson 2 days ago, and right now, basically this spring, it's been about recovery. I'm older, and I'm 38, and my goal is to be the first 40-year-old Olympic medalist in alpine skiing. That would be amazing. And it's just about recharging the body right now. I just started lifting again, and I'm nice and sore, and getting my strength back under me. But we have a long summer ahead of us, and I'm in no rush to start hammering.
Awesome. Well, as you can see, as skiers, we tend to gravitate towards places where it's good to ski. No surprise there. We wanted to talk on this athlete panel a little bit about how the current situation has changed kind of what we normally do this time of year. When I was up in Alaska, this was actually one of the funnest times to be out on skis. Some people would be putting their skis away when it was some of the best conditions to be had all year. One of my favorite things to do in the spring was to go out when you get that hard crust, gets nice and warm in the day, cold at night, creates this awesome surface that allows you to ski anywhere. You don't have to follow a trail. You can just go explore. You find these natural terrain parks everywhere. The snow is fast. I like to call it hero snow. And so it was always fun to finish a World Cup season and to be able to get out and really play on the skis. It was also fun to pull out the Alpine touring gear and skin up the mountains, find a nice, beautiful, untracked bit of powder, and then come down. For me, being an endurance athlete, I always liked that I got to do the bit of the work on the way up, but enjoy the turns on the way down. Of course, though, with our current situation, we can't just go out and do all those adventures that we normally would this time of year. So for me here in BC, I took advantage of those last couple of days of skiing I could before it looked like things were closing down. Now it's been about just kind of getting out on the bike, getting out on the trail run, just to stay sane a little bit. And like Steven said, hitting the gym a little bit, kind of keeping those muscles in shape, keeping the status quo so that when things do open up and we can get back out into the mountains, I'm ready to go. So that's kind of been the situation from my side. And it's kind of what I've been hearing through all of the athletes that I keep in touch with. Of course, I think in a time like this, you really appreciate the people that you're connected to. And even though we can't be all out doing the adventures together we love right now, it's been important to stay connected and, maybe revisit some of the memories from some great trips, and also think about maybe some things we want to do when we hopefully get back to normal. So I've been doing that. And another little piece of my story I kind of forgot to throw in there. Right after I won an Olympic gold medal, I found out I had breast cancer. And in going through that experience, facing something really daunting, really scary, something I really didn't have much control over, I found that a lot of the skills I developed as an athlete helped me get through that. And most of it just came down to mindset. It's about kind of taking this big, scary thing and realizing there's so much you can't control, but focusing on that only takes you down deeper and you don't get any further. So it's kind of coming back and saying, okay, what can I do today? What little victories can I find? And breaking that big scary thing down into literally something you can do every single day. And it's amazing how that keeps you focused in the short term. You kind of stay positive. You keep thinking about that future you want to get to. And days, months go by, you get through the tough time. And then when you do get back to doing all the things you love to do, man, do you appreciate it. So, unfortunately, we all have experiences in our life that put us to the test like that, but it's amazing how really relying on that kind of positive mindset and just knowing the future is going to be better will help you get through those tough times. So I know that's helped me, but I'd love to hear from some of you guys what has been helping. Kevin, do you have some good things to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. That sounds awesome, though, Keegan. Sounds like you're staying busy, which is awesome. But yeah, so I mean, due to kind of all the circumstances that are going on in the world right now, kind of faced with a different little approach to this season and approach to this time of the year for me. Usually at this time, I would, like Keegan was saying, I would be out west right now and I'd strap on my touring gear and I'd be out in the mountains doing long touring days and finding crust to just adventure and be out there. But due to the circumstances, I'm home with my parents in northern Wisconsin, which isn't the end of the world. There's not too much to do here right now. Been finding just kind of putzing around the house with my parents, or splitting wood, stacking wood, doing odds and ends, which is different, than what I would normally be doing this time of year. But it's fun because I'm actually able to spend quality time with people that I don't always get to, even though we're supposed to be social distancing a little bit. But yeah, and I've been kind of due to all the circumstances, I'm looking forward to kind of figuring out how to work around kind of what we have in front of us and find the different ways to train. And luckily for us as cross country athletes or Nordic athletes, we're not too crazily affected by it. We're allowed to, we can get outside and get on the roads and do a lot of our training that way and out in the mountains where there are no people. So we're pretty fortunate about that, but trying to do things differently with like strength training. We have an awesome strength coach who's been helping and doing a lot of body weight stuff and getting creative in the house with using milk jugs that my mom buys at the grocery store. Just getting super goofy with stuff, and it's been fun. I've been doing back squats with my dog over my shoulders and just getting creative because we can't go to the gym and we can't do the things that we normally do. So it's different, but it's fun. And I think that allows us as athletes to, maybe even stay motivated, being able to do things differently and get out of a routine that we normally do year after year after year. So I think we're pretty fortunate to be able to change things up and yet still kind of accomplish some of the goals that we all set and the goals that I set. So so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge, and so that should be fun. But I know it's going to be tough and not easy for everyone. So, so I don't know. I mean, I guess also kind of with strength and mobility, I know you, Sophia, have some background in that as an athlete and physical therapy, and kind of what would be some ideas you might have for some people to be doing things differently if they don't have access to everything.
Yeah, definitely. I think, kind of like Steven touched on a little bit earlier, is like a lot of athletes now coming out of the winter season are like pretty beat up. Like you've asked your body to do a lot and you like crushed through your season, and being able to take time to kind of evaluate like how you're feeling, gives you this opportunity to maybe go back without, the pressure of competition just around the corner to address kind of like some underlying issues. Definitely there's a lot of kind of like individual differences amongst people, what hurts and things like that. But we tend to see amongst like different athletes, like pretty universal themes. And I think a big one for me that I'm always working on in the off season is glute strength, and being able to kind of like activate them when I want and put them to use. When Kevin and Keegan are charging up this hill at the end of a 10K, like they're using their glutes. You guys are using everything you have. And when Steven is transitioning and going from, a left turn into a right turn, all those G forces are trying to like buck them, like to stay forward again, like that's glute strength. For me, like backflips, all that takeoff comes from the glutes as well. And they're really hard to activate. And our bodies are incredibly smart and really adaptable. So a lot of times what you'll see is that if you aren't able to use your glutes, you'll start to use other muscle groups to compensate. And two of those really big ones are your hip flexors and your back. So a lot of times you'll come out of the season being like, oh, like, why is my back just like always hurt? Or like my hip flexors are so tight. And a lot of times it's simply just because you aren't using your glutes. So there's a lot of great home exercises you can do. But I think it's really important to like look at your sport and think about like what functionally you want to get out of it. Clamshells and the side lying exercises are awesome as the beginning phases, but then how are you using your glutes, when you're getting outside and, on your roller skis on the road, or when Steven's like packing on more weight and doing super heavy squats, how are you using them when you're walking uphill? So that's kind of what I've been focusing on a lot. But I know that Steven, you've been absolutely crushing your home workouts. What does your like routine look like?
Like I said earlier, I was actually kind of in rest mode. A lot of it's been putting my daughter in a stroller and running around the neighborhood, or pushing her up a hill, or putting her in a backpack and hiking up a mountain or something like that. Lots of just endurance, low impact, establishing that sort of foundation right now. And 2 days ago was my first day really in the gym. But during that 5 weeks before I started lifting, I put pieces together, did a lot of research, kind of made my plan of what am I going to do this summer? How do I want to improve on my weaknesses? You got to step back and take an honest look at yourself and just say, okay, I'm good here, but I'm weak here. And how do I improve those weak areas? You're only as strong as your weakest link is something I've like to think by. So I've gathered a lot of gym pieces. The US ski team, fortunately, I'm in Park City. They lent out a lot of their equipment because their whole facility was shut down. And I took some of that in my garage, and I have a little setup ready there. And then to me, it's my sport is it's not high repetition of the same movement. There's a lot of off axis movements. There's a lot of things kicking you here and there. I mean, skiing in a sense is that way, to where you have to be ready for whatever's given to you. So I think a lot in full range of motion, really deep squats, really deep movement patterns with my arms and my back and my core, all different directions. And I try and build my foundation looking in a 360, building it in a 360 perspective, try and hit all the aspects, because I'm going to get hit and bucked in different positions. And I want to be strong there to where things won't break. But that's kind of my general approach. And when you think skiing, a lot of people think legs, and you need a big butt, and you need big quads and big hammies. But I think it's everything. You need a strong core, you need strong upper body. You cross country skiers are beasts. Like you'd think everything is legs, but Keegan's core, man, I admire your core. You guys it's impressive the way you train, and you guys have inspired me training beside you in the summer the past several years.
Well, that's a great point, Stephen. I mean, you tend to focus on the biggest muscle groups, but what I found through my career was that the core is what holds everything together. Like when you're getting to that tough point in a race and things are falling apart, it's the core that will keep the transfer of energy to where it needs to go. And I found some of the biggest gains with some of the smallest exercises, so much stability kind of stuff. And the great news is so much of that stuff you can do from home. So right now, while it's kind of frustrating that we can't get out and do all the activities, this could end up being a blessing in disguise, because you can spend time working on some of those weaknesses with just 10-15 minutes a day. If you can just get in the routine of just doing those, you will see the gains. And the fun part is, we've already been in this quarantine for over a month now. So, if it lasts for a few more weeks and you do that every day, you're going to come out of this just an awesome shape. And then when you can get back to doing all those things, now you have that solid foundation, that brace to really go out and build that next level of power. And so had this not happened at all, that may have been something you missed out. So
I think it's really cool to see the neighborhood. There's a lot of people running, a lot of people walking, a lot of people out and about, and they're keeping their distance, but I think it's inspired a lot of activity, and I think people have taken that positive out of it.
Definitely. And for mental health too, I think like this has shown me especially like how important the outdoors is, and being active, and what it does to my mood. And regardless of just even coming back a stronger athlete, I think on the mental health side and the kind of mental toughness side, learning how to kind of be anxious, and like what just even a 20-minute walk around the block can do, and like controlling those emotions. I think I'll definitely bring some of those techniques back into like when you're standing in the gate, or like standing up top of like a scary line, and being like, okay, like I know how to handle, being anxious. I know that if I just get moving, I'm going to feel good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you made a huge point when you're talking about just like mental health. And I know Keegan said the core is like so strong and like so fundamental and everything, but like, especially now, like your mind is so powerful right now in this quarantine, and when you're stuck inside, it's so key, like Steve's saying, like people getting outside, walking, enjoying the fresh air, and enjoying the things that maybe people forget, or we all kind of forget to enjoy when life is just rushing past us and we don't take time to kind of slow down. So yeah, it's all a blessing in disguise. And I think, making sure keep the mind fresh and strong is just as important as keeping your body fresh and strong.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, I know that May 1st is traditionally when cross-country skiers kind of kick off their new preparation season. That's only about a week away. What are you guys talking about on the Nordic team, and how you're going to kind of prepare for this next season with this unique situation?
Yeah, it's hopefully going to work out pretty smooth, but we've talked about a couple camps coming up, and then obviously we have some fallback camps if some of our camps don't get to work, and we're crossing our in New Zealand, and countries open up, but also like May 1st coming up quick, like Steve was saying. Also getting in the gym. I did my first like kind of live Instagram workout the other day with my club team, Sun Valley, and That was on Tuesday, and I am so sore. So it was a big wake up call, but I'm getting excited. I'm itching to get going. But yeah, it's just trying to figure out how we can all stay connected as a team. I think the Nordic team is really good at kind of being this one unit and one family. So we're just trying to figure out the best way we can all come together, even though we're so far apart. So we've set up, weekly Zoom kind of chats, and we're gonna try and get to, just hang out that way, since we might not be able to do that as a core group like we normally do. But for me, kind of going forward, the training kind of all looks very similar. So yeah, a couple small little changes, but I'm looking forward to the challenge ahead for sure.
Sweet. Well, one thing that just came to mind for me was, another thing we might be doing this time of year is realizing ski season is winding down. We should probably get our equipment in order to get ready for the summer. I know I have not waxed my skis for the summer yet, and I wanted to know if all of you guys, if you've been taking care of your equipment with all this downtime where we can be productive.
For sure. We usually have our ski men doing things. Sorry, Sophia, if you're still tuning your own skis, but
and this is where like the mogul skiing life comes out, and like the big mountain skiing is like, I just skied over a bunch of like sagebrush, and I'm like, I don't even know the last time I've tuned my skis. Maybe like January.
Sagebrush is fast. If you hit a few bushes, that
yeah,
re-waxes them
I
for
think
you.
that's how it goes. Yeah, it's the natural wax. It's coming out next year.
Nice. I actually enjoy ski tuning, and having a ski man is taking that away from me. And then this spring I was really excited, obviously, to do a bunch of adventures. And 2 years ago I got some cross-country skis. They're kind of like I don't know what you call them, but they're cross-country skis with edges. They're a little wider. I think they still fit in tracks, but they have the scales. And I was going all over Grand Teton National Park, and just I could walk up anything. It was so much fun, and ski down. And I was excited to do that this spring, but obviously that's not happening. But I've been waxing my whole quiver. I've gotten lazy and just kind of let things get dry. And so I've been taking care of everything and getting them ready to attack again when that time arises.
Perfect. Well, I know that peer pressure always works on me, so we could all work together to get our skis in a good place. That me of it's pretty interesting. Like, now that I've done competing, I've tried a bunch of new forms of skiing that I have never done before. And I started as an alpine racer back in the day. Like, I thought I was going to go to the Olympics in alpine. I loved the speed elements. But that's when skis were straight. And I've gotten I got back on a pair of GS skis this spring when I was in Switzerland for the Youth Olympic Games. And holy cow, those skis felt like they skied themselves, and I was just along for the ride. The technology it's changing at such a rapid rate. And I don't know if you guys have a similar experience where you've either gotten on something new and realized it wasn't at all what you thought, or if the technology has changed for your specific form of ski, or if you guys have any fun stories that way.
Is that why you stuck to cross-country skiing, was because the skis were remaining straight and everything else was getting... I'm surprised that you just tried shape skis, I guess, if that's what they still call them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've tried them, but I hadn't been on a pair of racing skis, I think, since I stopped racing. And right as I transitioned out of alpine into cross country, like the first shape skis had started to come out, and they were like hourglasses. I mean, it was the side cut was insane. And learning how to ski them, you hadn't changed the way you skied. When I was racing, we were always taught, drive that knee. And I feel like now when I try to ski a shape ski, I over ski it. Like, I try to drive too much. I forget to kind of just let the ankles go over and kind of let the ski arc itself. And I end up kind of skidding the back of it. So it's been kind of funny to have to relearn how to do it. And
I'm with you, Kikkan. I still pull out the old school in me, and
all right.
and I still try things that I was taught when I was a kid, and I'm like, dude, you got to eliminate that. This is like we're 2020. We're not 95.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, don't try as hard, try less, and then the ski works
exactly.
better.
Oh, exactly. What was fun actually this spring, and I didn't get to post much about it, but Fischer gave me some new RC Cut 4s. They're kind of the general public race ski, like the crossover ski. It's not full race, but it's not just an easy carver. It's a beefy, strong ski. But that thing was so much fun, and you could lay it over to your armpit. But I only took it out twice, and one day it was piss and rain, and the other day it was powdery. But I didn't get much good footage, so I never got to really post about it. But they are fun skis, and I don't know if that's what you got on, but I encourage you guys to all try those when you got those groomer days out there, just to feel like a hero again.
Yeah. Oh, a good arc turn, man. It's a beautiful feeling.
You're not stepping around the corners like you usually do.
A lot harder to skate up to the lift line though. Got to use those glutes.
I try to hop on some Nordic skis at least like once a season, and I always like the first 10 strides just go straight to my face because I'm like expecting there to be an edge. And I have like joined the Jackson's like women hockey team, and they're kind of like pickup games on Thursday, so that's even just made it worse, like really expecting there to be an edge, and it's always just like splat on my face, and then like finally figure it out, and you just like go so far, you just like glide forever. So fun. But equipment, my mom was a Nordic skier, and she had a pair of roller skis in our basement that were probably from like the 1980s. And I would always try to like steal them and like go around and just destroy myself on the concrete around our house for sure. And then, in college, like getting to try some of my friends' actual like updated roller skis and being like, wow, these are not just terrifying. Like you can just cruise. They're so fun. Yeah. When do you make that transition of like, okay, I finally got to put my Nordic skis away, snow skis, and bust out the roller skis?
Yeah. Well, I'll let Kevin answer that because I got logged off. But it was so fun chatting with you guys. Hello at Fischer community. Keep up the awesome work and the questions, and these guys will keep sharing their awesome stories. I'll see you later.
Bye,
See you, Keegan. So, should we get to some questions from fans?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it.
Let's do Safe the Beast 2. What workouts do you use most to train for races? For me, the way I've kind of what really upped my game probably 5 years ago was looking at skiing. All it really is bouncing on a thin metal edge under high pressures and vibrations and high speeds. So obviously you need the strength and you need to work on stuff in the gym, but racing and setting yourself apart when you do get tired, like you tend to usually get injured when you're tired and when things are thrown at you and you're not quick enough and able to adapt on the fly to. So in the gym, yes, I'll lift heavy weights and yes, I'll work on my entire body. But what I like doing is going through a circuit style workout, completely fatiguing my body, and then challenging myself to some coordination drill or some quickness drill or some balance drill and learning to function under fatigue. And I think that's one of the best ways to train. What about you, Kevin? Got anything in particular?
So I mean, it kind of goes both ways, like a double-edged sword, because I love, like, a big one is just for us Nordies is having a big engine, big capacity. So it's just getting out there and doing a super steady state, kind of what we'd call threshold or L3 workout for about 60 minutes total. And you can break that up. You can do 1 to 60 minutes, kind of like working the body pretty hard. You're creating lactate, but still kind of flushing it out. Or you can kind of break that up to like 5 to 6 by 10 minutes. But also, I mean, for Nordies, it's like rest. Rest is a really good thing. We hammer our bodies, and I'm sure it's the same for Alpine and or all skiers, and we hammer our bodies pretty hard. And the best way to kind of really prep and get faster and stronger is to rest. And that's what I pride myself in, being a pretty good rester when I need to rest.
You work really hard at resting. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sophia?
you get strongest during rest, right? You just tear yourself down while you're working out, and then you get strong during rest. For me, I think like this year's been a big change in like having to really like carry a load. I think in preparing for Denali, you know, you're looking at a heavy pack and bringing a sled. So weighted carries is something I've never done before. But starting, you know, with a 50 pound backpack and then just keeping adding weight every week, and, you know, going to the local ski hill Snow King and just booting up it, you know, trying to get 70+% of my body weight in my backpack, has been a crazy experience, and also like pretty cool to be like, oh, like I didn't know I could carry a 70-pound pack. But definitely, yeah, definitely a grind, for sure, but new activity for me.
How's skiing with the 70-pound backpack?
Yeah, so a lot of times I will take those milk jugs and then dump water out on top. Although I have a rock and he weighs 30 pounds. His name is Chuck. I've named him. And so he comes with me on a lot of my adventures these days. And then I put in AC/DC and I listen to Hard as a Rock.
Lucky
It's
Chuck.
when I'm feeling soft, I'm like, ugh, Chuck is tough. Like he's a hardo. I should be a hardo too. So, but yeah, no, definitely get your legs burning skiing back down with at least like 30+ pounds in the pack. So it's a new adventure. Yeah.
All right, the next one.
Oh.
What?
Oh, go for it.
Oh, all right. Jaden Egley. How do you alternate between lifting weights and body strength routines? I kind of hit on this earlier, but in the beginning of training, in the beginning of the season, a lot of the stuff's body weight, a lot of the stuff's endurance and establishing that foundation. I don't like jumping direct into weights, and I don't like lifting heavy early. It's kind of a build up to that point. And like Kevin said, you have to give yourself time to recover. And that's what I thought this opportunity was, or I looked at coronavirus as an opportunity to really let my body recover, to really try and heal aspects of my body that I knew needed healing. And I'm still working on that, but starting to integrate some of those workout routines into my training. Sophia, anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, as you touched upon, is like you're kind of building throughout. So I think like the kind of like nerd term is like periodization, of like you're setting up these different building blocks that all build on each other to like reach that goal. So I think it kind of depends like where I am in my year, whether I'm doing more kind of body weight or heavy lifting, and similar to you, like kind of ramping up with body weight before getting heavier. Kevin?
Yeah, for myself, I mean, it kind of goes, we do a lot of our strength in the weight room and a lot of our strength while we're roller skiing or just training. Like we'll go out and just hammer, you know, double pulling for 2-3 hours. And that is a way of getting strong for us. So fun. It is so fun. And, but also like getting into the weight room and throwing around big weights. Maybe not as big as you, Steve, and Alpiners do, but you know, I'm a sprinter, so I like to try and throw as big, powerful weights and powerful movements. But for like an endurance skier who's skiing like the 20 to 50K races, you know, those guys are definitely more body weight and muscular endurance. So they get a lot of it from being out there for long times and lots of repetition of low weight and stuff like that.
Nice. To the next one, C. Campbell. How do you get out there when your motivation is low? I would say, how about you, Kevin? Because you're full on. I don't get how you do it every day. Hours out there on the tarmac.
I mean, I mean, I think back to like the little moments that I've had kind of in my whole ski career, and you know, I might not have a lot of successes, but I think about my successes that I've had and that feeling and how the hard day to get out, even if it's pouring rain or scorching hot, that little feeling is enough for me to get.
Are you there,
It looks like,
Sophia? All right.
yeah, I'm here. It looks like just
I was
Kevin.
like
I didn't
waiting.
know.
I didn't know if mine was frozen.
What percentage of your Zoom calls freeze, you know? Yeah.
People are getting
For
used
me,
to it.
I feel like motivation, like first I just like love it, you know, like I love a lot of my training. I love skiing. I love being outside and spending time with my friends. So it doesn't necessarily always feel like hard to motivate. And usually when my motivation is low, I'll kind of be like, okay, like, am I overtraining? Like, am I tired? You know, what about today feels off? So a lot of times when I'm feeling motivated, I'll give myself space to rest and sort of be like, okay, like you have been like skiing every day for the past like 10 days, you know? And then wake up the next morning and like check back in, you know? I think often 2 days of rest can make like a huge difference in my motivation. And like being okay with that and like recognizing that there's going to be times where I'm not stoked to get out. And, you know, if it lasts more than 2 days, sometimes I reflect on like what I'm doing for training, like, does it align with my bigger goals and how to like continue to make it fun. But I think like just the love of it and the fun of it like keeps me going for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I to me it's always taking a step back and just honestly looking at yourself, and I like looking at all the different aspects of, okay, am I training the right way? Am I eating the right way? Am I resting the right way? Am I hydrating the right way? And you got to just look at all those different aspects and really self-assess and fix whatever's wrong. But the hard part for a lot of people is getting the engine even going. I feel like once the engine's going, it's much easier to continue to go. But sometimes it's just starting that engine is the hard first step. Let's go. Reed Donovan 24. What do you do to not give up when things really get hard? Sophia.
I feel like I practice that like before I need to necessarily put it into use. Like I think kind of back to some of those days where, you know, you're in the gym and you're like, okay, like I am gonna do everything and I'm not gonna put my foot down once to like rebalance on my single leg exercises and like fight through my mistakes. And then that way, you know, it makes it easier to be like ready to fight through my mistakes while I'm skiing. Or same for like endurance, like I'll schedule in just some like real suffer fest mental toughness days, you know. I'll like wait for a day when it's raining and I'll be like, okay, like I'm gonna go to the hill in this pouring rain because like that's the day that when you show up and it's race day and it's also pouring rain, you're like, oh yeah, I've been here, I've done this. So I'll like put in some like just suffer fest missions to like get myself ready and then invite a friend to keep me accountable. I think that like relying on your teammates and relying on your friends when it gets hard is just like a huge boost.
Mm-hmm. Kevin?
Yeah, I like what Sophia said. I mean, relying on your friends and your teammates, because I mean, you can't in sports and even in life. I mean, you can't do anything alone and by yourself. So for me, when things get hard, I reach out to a teammate, I reach out to a coach, and I'm just like, hey, I need an extra boost of motivation today. I can't find it, and you know, they're always there to give me that extra boost of motivation and help me get out the door or figure out what I need to be doing next. So that's just reaching out to people and asking for that extra little bit.
Friends and family. I mean, that's a tough time right now, and it's hard when there aren't people around. Like, fortunately, you're with your family, Kevin. I don't know your situation right now, Sophia, but I feel fortunate to have my wife and daughter around me. Like, if I didn't have anybody around, it would be tough, man. But don't hesitate to reach out to other people and rely on those people that will help motivate you. We have one more question. Do you guys read through any of those questions and have one you want to answer?
I'm into the what is the craziest alternative to a dumbbell / weight you've ever used?
Yeah.
How are you guys getting creative right now?
We bought a house in Jackson 3 years ago, and I chopped a lot of trees down. So I have a lot of logs and a lot of stumps and stuff that I just huck around, and it's fun to kind of carry those around and trudge through the snow and move natural things. But I also shoveling snow. Shoveling snow is tough, man. I use that as some training.
Do you guys still have a lot of snow out in Park City, Steve?
Where I live, yeah, I'm a little higher up in Summit Park, and there's 2-foot snow banks until a few days ago, and then a heat wave came and melted it. But Jackson, there's still quite a bit of snow where I'm at. I'm pretty high up too there. Sophia, you?
I've definitely been on like the weird end. So I have like a pretty small human. I'm like 5'2", and I can fit into a ski bag pretty well. So I've definitely been like the RDL deadlift weight where you just like crawl into a ski bag, help your teammates out and make it. Yeah. Really, really nice, easy lifts. But that's probably like the weirdest one that I've ever done. The milk jugs have been great. I'm like with Kevin through and through. You know, you drink your milk, get strong, and then use them to lift.
Yeah, no, I think mine is throwing the dog on the shoulders and just doing squats or like squat hold. Not the biggest dog, but it's kind of just fun to do. They're always just like,
wonder what the dog's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Get me off your shoulders.
Exciting, yeah.
But then also actually my girlfriend's a gymnast, a retired gymnast, and she has all these like crazy like handstand challenges and like press ups, and I've been like trying to do some of that stuff, and it's just like so over the top.
But gymnasts are amazing.
It's
cannot
incredible.
Do a lot of stuff that they do, like the flanges or whatever, where they can just stand on their hands and then bring their legs up. I just blame it on my skier booty. Like, man, it's impossible. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Did you see one of the questions you like, Kevin?
Yeah, let me pull them up quick. Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of maybe different for all of us, or maybe exactly the same, but I think the jam at Jamaron or something. I mean, how important is nutrition? I mean, for you guys, and you know, you're going to be going up to Denali, Sophia. Like, I mean, how are you planning for that kind of stuff when, you know, for those of that big day or as you approach it?
Definitely, I think looking at weight per calorie has been a good adventure. And Denali is kind of cool because you can camp out in these base camps and like still eat really well. I'm a big fan of like real food. So making sure that you're eating things that you like that are also healthy. I know the first 2 weeks of coronavirus, I ate nothing but chocolate. I definitely like use chocolate as like a fix when I'm, you know, anxious or stressed. And it was pretty incredible, like 2 weeks in, just to be like, oh, I feel terrible. And taking back and like getting back and eating well has been a big one. But I think taking the time to cook and like seeing food as like another way to like gather with your community. I've been doing some like dinner parties with different friends where we'll try different recipes and, you know, call each other and FaceTime and kind of be able to like connect communally as well. But just eating like real food and trying to get veggies.
I think diet's huge. Luckily, I'm a momentum sport, so I can eat anything I want and try and put the weight on. And I'm not trying to keep too trim, but it's actually hard for me to keep the weight on. But like you said, Sophia, it's real food, just natural, organic, as clean as possible, and a good variant. I was once told, eat according to the rainbow. So just eat foods of every different color. And that's kind of the things I live by, and a lot of it.
Eat the rainbow. That's nice. I mean, for us, food is fuel. So definitely eating super healthy and eating a lot. And my rule of thumb is I eat until I'm full, and I try and shove a little bit more in, because the next day when you're out skiing for 3 hours or something, I mean, you're gonna want the extra little bit. But also, I mean, like, I'll have a dinner, have my dessert, and then maybe at like 10 o'clock or 10:30 before I go to bed, I'll have a bowl of granola or bowl of cereal, just like an extra little bit before I go to bed. So just getting tons of calories and carbs and such. So
You eat a lot while you're going?
Yeah, usually like try and eat something like once every hour, whether it's like not like a whole bar, but have a bite or two of something, and then whatever you have in your, like, we have drink belts and sports mix, but for those longer days, we'll even like toss in like your credit card, and then you kind of plan out your route, and maybe stop at a coffee shop and grab an espresso and a little donut or a croissant or something to get you through those long days. So yeah.
Oh man, stoked to get those
That's
donuts.
not on Denali.
Yeah, I think it's Denali's the same. You're just at 14,000 foot camp, pull out your credit card, get that espresso. They got to carry all that stuff with you. The espresso machine will be coming up for sure, though. I feel positively about it.
Well,
Awesome.
cool. I think that's it, huh?
Yeah, kind of reached our time here. Thank you so much to Fischer for putting this on, and thank you to our whole panel here for joining us. It's definitely been really fun to get to hear everything that you guys are up to, and really taking this time as an opportunity to take a moment, rest, and then really brainstorm what you want to go out and get after. I think like it's pretty interesting. Most of the time that I've been separated from my sport has become of injury, and it's kind of a unique time to like have some of those similar struggles, not getting to do what you love, not getting to see the people that you love, and spend time with your teammates, but like the idea that it kind of like builds that fire in your gut, that making you miss it just makes you want it more, and being able to like take this time to really like come back stronger, and put in the work. It doesn't have to be a lot, but getting after something every day will come out of this together stronger. Be a great time.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks. This is awesome.
Enjoy. Hope to see you soon.
Take care. Stay safe. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's on the front line fighting for us right now.
Yes. All righty.